What's going on, people? This is Smoke. Thanks for joining my channel. This is my first video. Uh, I am making this video for a few different reasons. And I am, just so you know a little bit about me, I work full time and I run a couple businesses and have a lot going on in life. So I've mainly been just a consumer of news and information and political takes and everything like that. And, you know, up until the last presidential election of the orange guy, I've been, pretty, distant bystander, I guess, in the what goes on. I collect my information and I vote and I go on about my life. But this last election was different for me. Because I used to think that, as dumb as average Joe Public, is, I didn't think that they would be that dumb. Didn't think that, I thought that it was obvious what this guy was. I mean, before the election, I didn't really follow Trump that much. I knew he existed. He was just like some clown on TV, whatever. Kind of an asshole, whatever, but, didn't know that much about him. But during the election, so much came out about, who this guy really was, his criminality, his immorality, egotistical, racism, just all kind of stuff, mafia ties, the bankruptcies, the businesses that failed, all this kind of stuff. And people were supporting him because he's a business guy, because he's an outsider. And I'm just like, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Like, his businesses failed. Oh, he's rich, so he must be smart. But he was born rich and actually lost, money if you count inflation and beta tested against the S&P, all this kind of stuff. It's just like, and then the whole Central Park 5 thing. And it's just like, he's a dumb guy, like a really, really stupid, could be undiagnosed, clinically retarded guy. And I know the R word is like bad and stuff like that, but I say it, I believe in the correct sense. Like, I think that he could be mentally retarded, like clinically retarded. And I hope not, because, people that suffer from those types of things, I'm pretty sure that the nicest people in the world and everything like that. And I don't want to wish anybody like that in their ranks, but that level of mental ineptitude is not normal. It's not something that you see. It's just not survivable. So to see him garner the support that he did was like, if he's this dumb, if he's this dim, what does that say about his supporters? And I remember I was saying to somebody that, anybody that really voted for him was either stupider than him, dumber than him, or greedy. And I could see that was the only way that I could really make logical sense of this. And it really made me confront the fact that a large portion of the population is in a way worse state than I thought. Because I used to feel like people are just, they're not dumb. They're just like uninformed because they're too busy to be informed, because we're too busy working and doing what we got to do to survive out here and live our lives. We're just uninformed. But no, it's worse. So I saw, all of the bad arguments. I saw people falling for the lies and the mischaracterizations, and the logical fallacies were just like all over the place, and people would just fall for them. And it just changed my perception of this country for the worse. It's kind of one of those things where I go to the store and I'm like looking around like, it's just like, you might be one of them. But I just continue on to, try to live my life and everything like that. But, here comes this round of debates on the Democratic primaries and everything like that. And we're having the same kind of thing go on, because with Hillary, I didn't want to vote for Hillary, honestly. And it's, one thing I did see is that it's just like, oh yeah, Trump's really bad and he's, misogynist and a racist and all that. But Hillary, and it just stops right there. It's just like, but Hillary, and it's like, but Hillary what? Yeah, but just no way I'm gonna vote for Hillary. Yeah, Trump's really bad, but Hillary is just. And I'm just like, what does that even mean? Like, what about her? Like, no, she's not the greatest thing ever. She's not this or that, but what puts her below Trump exactly? You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just I'm seeing some of the same patterns, because the problem with Hillary was that she also had an ego. She was also very smug, and like she had this like, I'm above it all, I'm above the fray, I'm inevitable, type of thing going on about her. And I'm like, it sucks, but I hope that you're right, but damn, can you try? Like, can you be better than this a little bit? Because the electorates are different. The Democratic electorate is different than the Republican electorate. The Republican electorate is extremely totalitarian. They're extremely fascist, or no, I won't say fascist, but they have, the dear leader tendency. They're going to follow. They're going to follow the leader. They're going to fall in line. They're very loyal to, they're going to vote Republican no matter what, no matter who, no matter what. They've demonstrated that time and time again. They're going to vote Republican until they're not a Republican, and they're going to drive out and they're going to purify, themselves. And that's just what it is. But the Democratic electorate is like a bag of cats. You have to inspire the Democratic electorate. You have to give them something to vote for. You have to give them something to show up for, or they're not going to show up for you. Especially where you need them to show up in this crazy system that we have with the Electoral College. You have to give them something, or they're just not going to show up, and they're going to be splintered, and they're just going to stay home. And that's what happened. And I see a lot of that this time. All the crap with Bernie and treating him like shit, and all this kind of stuff is just, it was disgusting. And it makes you want to throw your hands up and say, fuck it. Like, I remember seeing Giant Meteor, what was it, the year? Giant Meteor 2016 or whatever the year was. Signs, like political campaign signs. And Trump voters weren't putting that up. Trump voters were excited to vote for Trump. They're like, yeah, let's go Trump. But you didn't have that with the Hillary side. Like, stronger together. Yay. Yeah. Oh, God. But they also ate themselves because it's like, oh, Bernie can't. Bernie is to this and to that and, this and that. But he was exciting people. It was like, yeah, let's go. And then when you took that away, it's just like grown. And some of us pulled ourselves together to pull the lever for Hillary, and some of us couldn't do it because it's just like, whatevs, And I see that happening all over again. I see the same style of arguments. I see the same lack of policy substance being presented. I see the same identity politics. I see the same garbage being recycled in different packages. A little bit less inevitability this time, but just more, it's cost too much. How do you pay for it? Let's have this big tent party thing going on where we want to get the Republican vote. Let's pick off those, soft Republicans that aren't, that don't like Trump and that are still, decent, and get them to vote for the Democrats. They're not going to vote for no Democrat. It's just not going to happen. Like, if you want a Republican vote, you have to be a Republican. Point blank. Ain't no Republican voting for no Democrat. A Democrat will vote for a Republican, but not the other way around. And you have to understand this. You need to understand the battleground before you go into battle. But they just don't. So I see the same things, like the reaching out and the bipartisan. We have to be bipartisan. We have to, get the Republicans to like us and all this kind of crap. And then also at the same time shitting on the liberal side of the party, the most left-leaning side of the party. Shitting on them, and they're the problem. But you're courting the conservative Republican vote while you shit on the most left part of the vote, and you're a Democrat. And I see the same stuff again. Like, they had the same foolery with the DNC, and all this, insider crap going on. And it's just, I need to put my voice out there because I'm sick of seeing it. I'm really sick of seeing it. And I don't have time to make slick videos. I don't have time to do all kinds of crazy research. I got to work. But I need to at least put my thoughts out there before they drive me crazy, because I see too much of it. And I'm going to start with this Mayor Pete guy, because he's an eel. Like, he's an electric eel, but he's an eel. And I don't like him. And it's for good reason. I believe it's for good reason. He's a slippery dude, man. He's a slippery dude. He's slick. He is... Either he's a liar or he's stupid. And I don't think that he's stupid. I think that he's a liar. And I'm tired of these liars being elevated. I really am. I'm tired of these people that make bad faith arguments. I'm tired of these people that say things that they know aren't true or are disingenuous. I'm tired of these people. I'm tired of Democrats that don't have a spine. I'm tired of Democrats that don't have the courage of their convictions and can take their conclusions to the ultimate end. They snake out of it and slip away while they invite Republicans and conservatives that aren't ever going to support or vote for them to, chase after their little vote while they shit on their own base. That in the whole time, they don't have any substance. They're empty suits. They don't have any real plans. All they have is criticisms for other people's plans, for other people that are actually trying to do something. They don't have their own plan, or they'll take somebody else's plan and water it down and make it more conservative so they can reach out further to their little conservative buddies that'll never vote for them. Which leads them down the corporate path, because corporations will support you. They'll throw money at Democrats, Republicans, whatever, as long as you get them more money or get them what they want. So I want my first video to be on this wine cave thing because I think one of the big problems is money in politics. It infects everything, as I just alluded to. Because like I said, corporations will throw money at anybody, anything that will get them return on investment. So I want to go into this and give my thoughts.
Mayor Buttigieg, you had your hand raised. Can't help but feel that might have been directed at me. And here's the thing. We're in the fight of our lives right now. Donald Trump and his allies have made it abundantly clear that they will stop at nothing, not even foreign interference, to hold on to power. They've already...
He's all right. Doesn't he look just like super rehearsed and like, you know, when you get up there, make sure you have that pregnant pause between these pithy statements. So it sounds like you said something that's like, you know, super grandiose. And, you know, purse your lips when you say this word and like all this kind of, he sounds like super, super rehearsed, man.
Already put together more than $300 million. This is our chance. This is our only chance to defeat Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, the one.
And we shouldn't try to do it with one hand tied behind our back. The way we're going to win is to bring everybody to our side in this fight. If that means that you're a...
Okay. So this is another point I want to make about, you know, corporatocrats, right? The Big Ten. You hear this a lot. We want to bring everybody. We want to be the inclusive party. And that's honestly code for we want to be more conservative. We want to move the party towards the quote unquote center. Let me tell you something about this center fallacy, right? Because there is a between point between two sides, it doesn't mean that it is correct. Okay? If I'm standing in Virginia and I can go and my goal, or let me say, in the correct position is in California, it doesn't mean that, you know, if I have a side that's like in New York and in Florida, then I must already be correct because I'm already between the two. No, the correct position is in California, right? It doesn't mean just because you're in the middle of something that means that you're right. Two sides can still be wrong, or one side can be right, or the correct answer could be somewhere totally different. But we have they have this fallacy going where they believe that the center, the compromise between two different positions, must be the correct one. And I've heard it said, you know, if neither side likes the solution, that means it must be right. No, it does not. It has nothing to do whether it's correct or not. What we need to be going for is what is right, not what is in the middle.
Grad student digging deep to go online to PeteForAmerica.com and chip in $10, that's great. And if you can drop $1,000 without blinking, that's great too. We need everybody's help in this fight.
So that was real slick. What he tried to do is equate a broke college student to, you know, a millionaire. And he said it by, oh, if you can give $1,000 without blinking. We know what he's talking about. Number one, we know they give way more than $1,000. Right? So there is no comparing, because the reason why he chose $1,000 is because he knows that $1,000 donation wouldn't cause him to blink, wouldn't cause him to bat an eye. But we know that they give way more than that. And in dollar amounts that would cause him to bat an eye. Right? Also, let's say they do just give $1,000. He knows where that money came from. Elsewhere in this debate, Bernie talked about how many billionaires they have supporting their campaigns. So even if that billionaire gave him $1,000, he knows that billionaire, there's a way more than that where it came from. way more than that in the well. So he's being super disingenuous here.
I'm not going to turn away anyone who wants to help us defeat Donald Trump. We need Democrats who've been with us all along, yes, but we also need independents worried about the direction of the country. If you were a Republican, disgusted with what's going on in your own party, we're not going to agree on everything, but we need you in this fight, and I will welcome you to our side.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You need to leave. You need to forget about getting Republicans. You know, they're not going to vote for you. They're not going to vote for you. They're not going to save your butt. They're not going to come out and say, you know what, forget Donald Trump. I'm going to vote for Pete. Not going to happen.
Senator Warren, 45 seconds to respond.
So the mayor just recently had a fundraiser that was held in a wine cave full of crystals and served $900 a bottle wine. Think about who comes to that.
See, this is masterful. This is alliteration. This is painting that picture. This needs to happen more often because they don't, like, a lot of times they're so boring that it's just like, what are you even talking about? Especially the corporatocrats, where they don't even have any policies to excite you with. What she did is made you see it in your mind's eye. This ordained, like, opulent, secret hideaway away from everything, with crystals shining everywhere, $900 bottles of wine just flowing, people laughing it up, fat cats, just laughing it up, along with Pete here in his face. This is beautiful.
He had promised that every fundraiser he would do would be open door, but this one was closed door. We made the decision.
See, this is another point as well. This leads me to another point about this guy. He's a liar because he did make that promise, and now he's gone back on it, and he never addresses it. He was called on it by, some reporters, and I guess he was just tired, and he was just like, nah. I think it was about the donor list. Are you going to release your donor list? No. Like, what do you mean no? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Who falls for this stuff? Come on.
Many years ago, that rich people in smoke-filled rooms would not pick the next president of the United States. Billionaires in wine caves should not pick the next president of the United States.
Mr. Mayor, your response.
According to Forbes magazine, I am literally the only person on this stage who's not a millionaire or a billionaire.
Oh, yeah, personal attack.
So
who cares, right? In the grand scheme of things, this is what I'm talking about with bad arguments. Who cares? He's like a high schooler, like a high school kid trying to land a sick burn versus actually saying something of substance. Nobody cares if you're personally not. You're only 37 years old, bruh. Of course, you're definitely on the way. So I'd love you to replay this clip once you cross that first million. And then see what you got to say when you're 42 years old, right? When you write that first book that ends up on the New York Times bestseller because you bought a whole pallet full to get up on that list, or your campaign bought all the books so you can get up on that list, and then you turn your first million. I want you to play this clip back and see how sick a burn it is, right? Nobody cares how much money you personally has. Don't care how much Elizabeth has. It's not about your personal wealth, and it shouldn't be about your personal wealth. And I know certain liberals are like, yeah, that does matter. I personally don't care. I don't care if it's Bill Gates. I don't care if it's just Jeff Bezos. I'm on that Bain train.
Who are you? It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
I don't care about your personal wealth. I care about what you're going to do for me and my community, right?
This is important. This is the problem with issuing purity tests you cannot yourself pass.
No, it's not the problem.
If I pledged never to be in the company of a progressive Democratic donor, I couldn't be up here. Senator, your net worth is $100.
Now, he let that slip by. I think he slipped up right there. If I pledged never to be in the company of a progressive donor, I wouldn't be here. That's number one. He knows that's a lie because Bernie proved all of that wrong. He broke records. He broke his own records for small dollar donations. He doesn't take any big dollar donations. He actually returned a small dollar donation from a billionaire because they were a billionaire. Now that's too far for me, but he has proven that you can get on that stage with small dollar donations. What does he have, like 1 million donors or something like that? That's 1 million guaranteed votes. 1 million guaranteed, because there's no way you're going to donate to Bernie and then not vote for him in the primary. Just no way. So it's 1 million guaranteed votes. And Pete could eat from that same table because he's young. He's, some liberals like the identity stuff. He's got that going for him. He's got the identity thing going for him, veteran, all this kind of stuff. He could be young and hip and getting on that train, but he doesn't want to because it's harder. Takes more work. You have to have more substance. You have to have actual plans to present and talk about for the younger generation. It's harder versus sitting in a wine cave with 15, 20 rich people that all you have to do is listen to them whine and complain about how they want more money and less taxes. Right? So you could be on that train if you wanted to, and you know that what you're saying is a lie. Because it's sitting right there on the same stage. But here you are. If I couldn't be in the company of this rich person, then I wouldn't be here. This I hope that's not his actual thought. Maybe he does believe that. Maybe he actually believes that.
100 times mine. Now, supposing that you went home feeling the holiday spirit, I know this isn't likely, but stay with me, and decided to go on to PeteForAmerica.com and give the maximum allowable by law, $2,800. Would that pollute my campaign because it came from a wealthy person? No, I would be glad to have that support. We need the support.
So here's him pretending that money in politics does not corrupt people. Therefore, we should continue to have it. If you, as a voter, believe this, then you're stupid. You're dumb. Number one, any business person, which most wealthy people are business people to some extent, any business person that gives money to something sees it as some sort of investment. And with an investment, they expect some sort of return on investment. They don't give money for no reason. You don't see anybody, let alone wealthy people, or anybody driving downtown throwing dollars and cash out of their car. Why? Because they're not going to get anything from it. They're just going to lose, guaranteed going to lose. The reason why they give money, and lots of money, no less, is because they expect a return on investment, which they have gotten in the last 4 years with Trump. Because what stuck? What litigation stuck? Or legislation, excuse me. What legislation has stuck? The tax cuts. The tax cuts. Billions of dollars of tax cuts. So that is really good return on investment because they gave millions of dollars to get billions of dollars in return. And where did that money come from? Where is it going to come from? Because stuff still has to get funded. The military isn't getting any smaller. Guess whose pockets that's going to come from? Right. Not theirs. So this right here is so slimy. It's so slimy. He's trying to sell you that me? I'm not affected. Nobody's affected by who cares about money? Money doesn't, all money does is it just buys ads so I can influence you. I can influence the voters. I can get my message out. That's all. Like, I'm not going to take their calls or anything, bro. Like, I don't really care. Like, it's just, billionaires, whatever.
From everybody who is committed to helping us defeat Donald Trump.
We would like to bring in everyone, but obviously, Senator Warren, I'd like to give you a chance to respond.
I do not sell access to my time. I don't do call time with millionaires and billionaires.
Sorry, as of when, Senator?
I don't meet behind closed doors with big dollar donors. And look, I've taken one that ought to be an easy step for everyone here. I've said to anyone who wants to donate to me, if you want to donate to me, that's fine. But don't come around later expecting to be named ambassador, because that's what goes on in these high dollar fundraisers.
Yes, it is.
I said no, and I asked everybody on this stage to join me.
Not only is she telling the absolute truth, and it took somebody like Trump to just rip all of the pretext off of it. All of the pretext off of it. I mean, Betsy DeVos, do we need to go any further than that? Like, the ambassador to Ukraine was like a nobody dude, just rich, that donated, like in the Mar-a-Lago club. Like, come on. And I don't even know why rich people want to do this stuff, because it seems like it's more headache than it's worth. But they do it. They want it for whatever reason. That's absolutely, like, it's gentlemen's agreements, it's handshakes, it's these people want FaceTime with you so that later when you see them, you remember how they helped you out. This is how stuff works. This is how business works. I'm going to invest in you, especially while your stock is cheap, so that later on you can remember who helped you get where you are. You tell me, do you think this man is going to take that phone call, is going to take that meeting or not? And you tell me, if you donate $5 to PeteWhatever.com, are you going to even have his phone number to be able to call him? Like, I don't even know where these people get his phone number from to set up to be able to want to be able to attend these meetings. But you can see in those wine cave pictures, they're all in his face. They want to be in his face so he remembers that face later. This is elementary school stuff, man. Like, he's trying to convince, and I'm pretty sure he'll be successful because of his presentation somewhat, but he's trying to convince you that money doesn't corrupt, when that's one of the biggest problems we have in our government. Like, this is right-wing stuff. This is Republican stuff. This is like a Republican talking point, because the Republicans are supposed to be the ones that are corrupt. But the Democrats have taken on the mantle that, oh, they do it, so I need to do it too to be able to keep up, even though that's already been proven wrong. All right.
This ought to be an easy step. And here's the problem. If you can't stand up and take the steps that are relatively easy, can't stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when it's relatively easy when you're a candidate, then how can the American people believe you're going to...
I'll say this. It's not easy because money, we've all been sold the notion, especially by the media, that money, whoever has the most money wins. And this is their jobs that they're talking about. This is their livelihoods that they're talking about. Once they don't have power and influence, they won't have any more flow of money. The spigot is turned off. So it's probably one of the hardest things that a politician can actually do, because if you look at how they actually spend their time, they spend at least half of their time, if not more, phone banking, calling, donors and stuff like that, hobnobbing with donors so that they can write some more checks and make more promises and all this kind of stuff. So this is not easy. It's not easy for them because they see this as money is life. Money is political life right now.
Stand up to the wealthy and well-connected when you're president and it's really hard.
Judy.
Senator, I've got to respond to that.
Mr. Mayor, we're going to give you one more chance to respond.
If you can't say no to a donor, then you have no business running for office in the first place. But also, Senator, your presidential campaign right now, as we speak, is funded in part by money you transferred, having raised it at those exact same big-ticket fundraisers you now denounce. Did it corrupt you?
See, this is why he's so freaking slimy, dude. Like, he is correct here in saying that she did do that transfer, but at the same time, I mean, he can't defend anything on the substance. I mean, he did try. I'll give him that. He tried to just go directly at it and say, you know what, money doesn't affect me. He's trying to say it right now where money it didn't affect you, did it? So how are you going to say it affects me? Of course, they're not ever going to say that it affects them because that's, suicide. She should say it. She should say that it affected her or could have affected her. And that's why she stopped. She could feel the effects. She could feel the pressure. And that's why she stopped. She could say that. But this is such a slimy point because he's just trying to shove down your throat that it doesn't influence. Then why? Money influences stuff because you want the money so that you can influence the electorate by purchasing ads. Of course it affects things. Come on now.
Senator, of course not. So to denounce the same kind of fundraising guidelines that President Obama went by, that Speaker Pelosi goes by, that you yourself went by until not long ago in order to build the Democratic Party and build a campaign ready for the fight of our lives, these purity tests shrink the stakes of the most important election.
Judy.
We'd like to bring everyone in. We'd like to bring everyone in.
So that's the wine cave thing, and it just crystallizes for me how slippery and slimy this dude was. This dude Pete, he used to be, or at least pretend to be, very progressive. He was a Bernie supporter, all this kind of stuff, from Medicare for All, and he should be one of the last people to talk about money doesn't influence me, because he used to be for Medicare for All. He started getting checks from the insurance company, which he took. And now guess what? He's not for Medicare for All anymore. He wants to maintain the private system. I wonder why, dude. No, those checks totally didn't affect you. You just had an epiphany. You was just like, you know what? We do need this private system. All of a sudden, I think people do care about Aetna and Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they love them. They want to hug them. They want to wrap their arms around them and give them a kiss, right? All of a sudden, the checks didn't affect me, bro. I just came upon this on my own. It's just a coincidence, bro. Like, who buys this stuff? Who is convinced? Who is convinced by this stuff? Like, have the courage of your convictions. And say, defend, take it to its conclusion. If that's if that's truly the principle that you hold, just sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to go where the dollars are, because the dollars are given to me by the most powerful people in this country, and they're the smartest people in the country. And this is a capitalist society, whatever you want to say. If that's your conviction, I don't even know what the argument would be like, because I don't hold that belief. But if you do, fight for it. Don't lie to me. Have a spine, or have a spine about not having a spine. Like, I'm spineless. I'm going to go where I'm paid to go so that I can maintain office, because I feel like I'm the best person to be in office and I need to do whatever it takes to stay in the office. You know, so if I get paid to go this way, and if this group gives me money, I'm going to go this way. If another group gives me money, I'm going to go that way so that I can stay in office because I'm the best choice or whatever. You know, at least that would be true. It would be, I would respect that argument at the minimum. But you get no respect from me when you're trying to shove down my throat. It's like, hey, bro, this money doesn't mean anything, when you literally changed your mind because of money. Like, don't tell me that. Like, come on, man. You promised that you wouldn't hold fundraisers, and then you held the closed door fundraisers. Like, where's your spine? Where's your backbone, man? And then you want to be voted into office as a leader, like the leader? You know, say what you want about Trump, and I certainly do. But the dude has, I hate to call it a spine. Let me actually just back up. Trump just is stupid. He's too stupid to care what people think. Like, it can be mistaken as strength. It really can, but he's not strong. He's just stupid. He's too stupid to realize what looking bad is or whatever. Like, but at the same time, it's effective. It's effective. It comes off like strength. So it has the same effect as strength, right? But you're just spineless. Like, the whole debate, you didn't really say anything. Like, your plan is Medicare for all who want it. Like, another little slimy, spineless little saying or whatever, picking up off of, you know, somebody else's plan. Like, I don't understand how anybody is convinced by him. He's just like this dry, empty guy who can raise his voice and point his knuckle at you and look political and talk political. So it's just super annoying to see people convinced by this stuff. You know, what is your plan? What effect will your plan have? Why do you believe that this plan is the best? Convince me. Talk to me. Let me know. But none of that. It's just all it's all substanceless. It's just all style. All right, so that's it. We'll continue the video with my next thoughts when I get some time. Please like the video or dislike the video, subscribe, definitely comment with your thoughts down below, especially if you disagree with me, because I'm right. And I would love to have a conversation with people that are wrong, so that I can prove to you that I'm right. Love to do it. Live for it. All right. Talk to y'all later. Smoke is out.